But I'm here today with Mr. Steve O'Daly, Stephen Teal,
Let's
the
go.
formerly he was the 24-year-old finance bro, married finance bro in Houston. Now he's 26, um, still married, thankfully. We'll talk about that, and now he's leaving Houston, which we'll also talk about. But Stephen, what has the last couple years been like for you? Because I'm sure it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on this podcast. This is really cool. Um, Last 2 years have been pretty chaotic, man. Like I started my career off in um, really commercial real estate, doing like I had a commercial real estate like internship um, at this company, and then that didn't end up working out. I didn't really care for it, and then I worked with you for about a year at Forvis. And after that, I got another project finance job at this really good like LNG company. It's called Next Decade, and that was like really good experience. Like one of my buddies actually hired me on, and this was exactly 2 years ago, and he was like my direct boss.
Hmm.
So he was a really good mentor. Still, he's a great guy, like loves the Lord, and he's very smart. And I was really like stoked to be on his team. But there was one thing that like I thought that like I just didn't. I thought there was more out there for me, and instead of working a corporate America job, and I used to do content back in let's see in college on TikTok, and I grew my following there a little bit.
Hmm.
And then my wife, about a year ago, noticed that like let's see, she was like, "Hey, like there's a trend going on where like guys like your age are doing like day in a life content, and so like I think you should pick it back up again." And I was like, you know what? I don't know. Like I'm like trying to figure out like what I want to do with my career. This job, I have a great job, but like it's not like my passion.
Hmm.
And so from there, I picked up my phone again, started recording literally just me waking up, going to the gym, going to work, leaving work, leaving work every single day. I'd post, and sometimes like the videos would do well, sometimes they wouldn't, but I just was consistent for the past 2 years, or past year, like posting consistently. And yeah, man, like it's like my wife's been fully supportive of like all of it. And then as of about 2 months ago, I quit my corporate job to do social media full time now. Like my goal is to start a business, and we could talk about that later. But yeah, man, it's been a journey, and like I'm really excited to see like what this next year or two looks like because it's all up in the air and anything can happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's been so awesome being able to just going from like knowing you, working together, and then following along like what you've picked up here, and just like seeing it honestly organically pop up on like my Instagram, and just oh shoots like Steven's doing this is sick. And I mean I just checked a little earlier. I mean 273,000 followers on TikTok. You got like 51,000 on Instagram. So
Hmm.
you've been really grinding, building something that's reached a lot of people, which is I'm sure just an awesome feeling. Um,
Hmm.
when did you really start seeing things take off for you? Like, was there a particular video or kind of stretch?
There was so with my like I didn't have an Instagram. I just had TikTok,
Hmm.
and I mean I had my personal Instagram, but like I started on Instagram I opened up my Instagram account, brand new account, opened it a year ago, um, and it started taking off really when I hopped on that trend of like day in the life vlogs,
Hmm.
and people. I was already kind of I had the skill of editing videos because I just did that in college, like I said,
Yeah.
and there was this one video. It was like my like 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, and like it was just a basic. I go home. Actually, I leave the office, go to the gym, come home. My wife we're cooking dinner, uh, and then we pray before dinner, and then we go sit on the couch and just watch TV. And like obviously, we're like she does her own business, and like I was editing my videos at the time, but that's all I recorded, and like that video got like 8 million views and probably like 20,000 followers from like one video,
Wow.
which is pretty crazy to think about because like anybody can do that as well. And it's just one video can change your life. And that's really what happened for me is like, I was like, wow, like if one video can do that, then like anything can happen. And so just from there, at that point, I was like, I'm really about to like buckle down on this. I know how much money you can make from social media. And so I just, from there, just kept posting, and progressively just grew over time, which is so cool. It's such a blessing.
Dude, I can't even imagine just like seeing that all of a sudden hit. It's like, what do you mean I have this many million views on it? You know, this many thousands of likes. Like that must be just insane to see. You know, and you know, you're like you were saying, there's this kind of whole trend of day in the life videos and guys doing this. And you know, I always think about like, you know, what is going on here? And you know, like when we were in high school, you think of like David. I know I saw you met David Dobrik not too long ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you see him at the airport, which is like so.
But like, you know, David Dobrik videos and like Mr. Beast videos, for example, like huge amounts of money spent doing crazy stuff. I remember, you know, he was giving away cars to his friends and all this like elaborate stuff that seems so. I think it got so much traction because it was so elaborate and like extravagant, and it's like, wow, this is just cool to like witness. But now there's been a switch of people watching stuff like your content, right? Relatable, like you're saying, anybody can just do this. This is just how you live your life. Working a job, you know, staying in shape, being with your family, being with your wife, like building that life like that, you know. Do you think that that's saying something about us as a culture and a society? Do you think there's a bigger trend going on?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I think that like long form videos, I mean, such as like this podcast, people on YouTube, David Dobrik, Mr. Beast, like they all have their own like audience. And I think, you know, like people like you do like clips from your podcast and post them on like Instagram, TikTok. And then like the same thing with David Dobrik and Mr. Beast to do this all sorts of platforms. I think where like what's happening now is that like people have very short attention spans, as you probably could tell.
Yeah.
And I think like what's happening now is like people have like my style of content where I'm like just doing like 1 minute long videos. Like this is my whole day. And like people, I think if they're just like, you know, taking a lunch break, like they don't have time to like sit down and like watch like a full long like YouTube video or like a podcast. So like they're just mindlessly scrolling, and I think they tend to just like that content more because it's more like it's faster paced. So that's not to say that like long form videos aren't going downhill. I just think this generation, or just like this point of time, people just don't have enough attention.
Yeah.
And they just lean towards more like short form content, just because it's more convenient. And like usually with like long form content, you go home, turn on the TV, and like watch it there. But I think it's just people don't have enough attention spans.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, I don't want to say necessarily good in that, but I think there are pros and cons of that. I mean, I think in general, yeah, we are kind of losing the ability to stay focused for a longer stretch of time. And I mean, I talk about this all the time. Like even think about Amazon Prime. I mean, you wait more than 2 days or 3 days for a package to come. That feels like forever, right? But when we were kids, stuff takes 7 to 10 business days. Okay, I mean, you know, you had to buy something online, whatever. You know, so it's just like this overall thing. But I do think the relatability of just seeing you, and it's like, wow, like I'm watching somebody else's life. Like they're doing something that's not so different than me, but they have, and especially, I mean, you keep it very positive. It's very just heartwarming and like wholesome, and it's like, wow, like this is cool. Like I get to just witness and have like a bird's eye view on this guy's life. So I think that's a really cool thing.
Thank you.
You know,
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of cool, what's it been like as you now have grown to the audience that you've had? You're starting to get some brand partnerships, right? You're getting sent out to different events. You wanna talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think about 3 months into doing social media, I think I was just growing so fast, which was such a blessing, honestly. I did start. I put it I made my own a separate email, put it into my bio, and brands started reaching out to me, like wanting to like. A lot of them were AI companies, like, hey, like, what you do, like advertise like my like AI, literally like hundreds of AI
Oh, damn.
companies, which is kind of funny. I was like, I don't know, like I'm not really interested in these people, like. But then I took some, and I
Yeah.
started making $1,000 here, $1,000 there, posting it, and then an agency reached out to me, and they are a good friend of my wife, and her name's Kirby, Strive Influence. They're great people. I've worked with them since, but I signed with them, and they were like, "Oh, what are you doing for your rates right now?" I'm like, like $200 for like an Instagram story, like $1,000 for like a post, cross posted to all platforms, and like $1,000. And she was like you're lowballing like yourself so much. And then like she was like, sign with us, and I promise you, like we'll make you 6 figures in a year.
Oh,
I was like, I don't know, like there's no way. And then like she started giving me deals. For example, like she's giving me so many deals, which is like really cool. But like one was with like Best Buy, $10,000 for posts on just one little post with a couple of Instagram stories, and then all right, next one like 7,000, 5,000. It's just like a few like per week. I'm like, wow, this is like really really cool, and I'm glad that like an agency can come in there and like you know be that third party group that can kind of organize and do all the legal documents and stuff. Because at
yeah.
first I was doing it all myself, and like
Uh,
I think I actually almost got into some legal trouble
oh no.
with one company from China. I I was in Italy, and like I think I just forgot to post on the exact deadline or date that we agreed upon,
Oh no.
and they're like, "Hey, this is not whatever pursuant to this section of the agreement. Like you did not comply. Therefore, like
Uh,
blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh crap, this is not good. Like I need an agency." So thankfully, nothing happened. It just didn't end up working out. But an
yeah.
agency is like really has been super cool. One of the reasons why I can step away from a 9 to 5 corporate job right now and
Hmm.
pursue my own thing. And yeah, man, it's like it's been so cool. Like if you or if anybody watching this like has a social media and you have a following, like an agency is like far worth it. I mean, they take 20% of your cut, but the amount of deals that are coming in are like completely outweigh all
Yeah.
like the full 100% that you take in, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So
How
yeah,
are
man, it's
you
been cool.
when you were under ball, and like how were you setting these rates? Like was it just like I'm assuming this is what I get? Like how did you come
ChatGPT,
to that initially?
ChatGPT, ChatGPT kind of screwed me over a little bit there.
You were like, I'm not taking another AI deal after this. Like, screw that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, no more AI deals, no more
uh,
ChatGPT. I'm relying on the agency here.
damn. Yeah.
Uh,
Don't put your trust in ChatGPT, kids. That's the lesson going forward.
Now
Um,
Claude is good. I'll put my trust in Claude. Claude is a homie.
Claude.
I'll do.
Oh wait, hold on. Do we have to? Are you sponsored by Claude?
No, I'm not sponsored by
Okay.
Claude.
Okay.
No
Not a
sponsorships.
sponsor. We have to clarify that
I
for
would be
legal
cool.
reasons.
I would be cool.
Not Claude. If you're watching, Steven is open to a sponsorship.
Hit
Okay.
me up.
Hit him up.
Hit Will
Emails
up
in his
too.
bio. Hit us both up. We'll do something crazy. Um, what are some of the? I mean, you went to like the Indy 500 last week? I see you get sent out to some of this stuff. Was that? Are these partnerships as well? What is that?
So Indy 500 was not. That was with my
Okay.
father-in-law.
Oh,
This is
okay,
kind of funny.
cool.
People did think that it was like a brand deal because I kind of
Yeah.
like we had such cool tickets. It was a really cool thing. So no, that was not a brand deal. But anyways, my wife and I got flown out to Arkansas like about a month, 2 months ago, and it was the Arkansas Derby, and we don't care about derbies, but like we're saying, hey, like it's super cool, like we're getting paid
Yeah.
for this. And yeah, that's one place we got sent out to was Arkansas Derby, and like they paid for our hotels. We stayed not hotel, we stayed in like a tree house, which was like super cool.
A
And
treehouse?
yeah, like they paid for everything. Like it was like they paid for the
Damn.
tree house, they paid for food, they paid for obviously the flights, and they also paid me a good amount of money to go there, which is such a blessing.
Damn.
Um, but yeah, no, there's like even like locally in the area, like we've gotten free tickets to certain things. Like we've had like this putt putt place is like cool, like new putt putt place in the Galleria in Houston, and they paid us to go, and we just had like free food, drinks, and like had the whole experience to ourselves. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened. Like that's the only two I can think of right now. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's cool. It's a cool gig.
Well, it's funny because I think a lot of people actually probably do that. Like, if you blend the line of like, I mean, you didn't explicitly say that, hey, they're sending me out to Indianapolis for this, but you didn't not say that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just like, wow, this is just part of his life. Like, it almost like
Yeah,
blends in together. That's
yeah.
that's my first assumption was that you were.
That's that's good feedback actually, because it's I want to be able to implement like certain products. Like I'm not gonna I don't know, we'll get you into legal trouble. But this is like this key, like this
Yeah.
key that I like slowly. One thing, if you want to do social media and you want to get brands to work with you, one thing you should do is like start just adding random products that you already use into your videos. Like,
Mm.
for example, just drink. Like in my video today, I'm actually making a vlog. Like I'll be putting on some deodorant, or just random things like that. And brands are like, oh, he did it so like he implemented it into his normal content so organically. Let's send him our product, pay him for it, and do the same thing. So it performs just as good as a full blown like video about a certain product.
Yeah.
Like for example, like the Rocks brand, it's called Papatui, I think.
Okay.
He Because I was using deodorant in my videos, he sent me or they sent me and paid me to promote like their deodorant.
Damn.
uh, so like I would say, dude, yeah, like 100%, like start just throwing random products. Like let's say for example, okay,
See what I
I got
got.
sent a free cold plunge because I cold plunged at my gym across the street. And I put it in my videos, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, like if he's already doing this, like I said, like might as well just send him something." And so we get a lot of like I get a lot of PR stuff coming in. Like for example, like we were gone in Italy for about 2 weeks
Hmm.
and came back. There was like tons of just random boxes, like T-shirts, like hats, like just protein bars, like super cool things with everything.
That's so funny. That's I've never thought about. That's so smart though, because they're watching these videos. They're like, hey, if he can I mean, he's already using this product. If he can substitute
Mhm.
what he's using now for what we give him,
Yeah.
like he doesn't have to. There's no separate campaign to come up with. There's no script writing, outside of what he's comfortable with. Like he's already organically introducing this product in a way that's 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 next level thinking.
It's cool. Yeah.
Has there been some other stuff? Because I'm sure a lot of it's been like learning on the job, like what works, what doesn't, what performs well. Like, has there been certain aspects where maybe a year ago you weren't really doing, but you've kind of audited your work and said, hey, I know this works well, so I'm gonna start doing this, or some kind of formula. Has there been anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's the volatility of like trends is like it's pretty it's very it fluctuates a ton
Hmm.
throughout the year, and you really just gotta be willing to like adapt to that. Like recently, this past month has been a little slow because I've just been like really busy trying to like prep for our new move to Dallas. Like quitting my job, like going to Italy for 2 weeks. Like it's been tough, but like before that, like I would um, really use like other creators like in my I guess certain niche of like content, look
Hmm.
at what they're doing and seeing what works best, and taking like influence from that. Like let's say for example, like some guy posts like, oh, like I just tried this is how much I ate today. Like, come with me. Like, come try this out with me, and like see how much I
Yeah.
spent on it, see how many calories this is, whatever it is. And that video did well, and another guy does it too, but his own version, obviously. And then, like, it always just like it's always moving like that. So what I've noticed relative to when I started last year is that things change a lot, and you gotta be willing to like put your pride aside and like yes, be yourself, but also be willing to take inspiration from other people
Yeah.
because that is actually key to like you know riding the wave and like making sure like people are engaged in your content.
Yeah. Well, and that's how any um, media content, art content has been consumed forever. I mean, people I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes complain about like music sounding too similar, or but you need kind of it. Music only exists now, for example, because of everything that's come before it, everything you draw inspiration on, and then you take that, you say, hey, I like these parts, I like these parts, let me pick this part my own, and then that becomes the new thing, right? So it's kind of like what you're doing. It's just you're taking, hey, this works, I like this, like I know it's been tested, I know how this is received, I like that part, and then you can make it your own, and then that's how you kind of stand out, but also
Yeah,
fit into that algorithm a little bit.
yeah. Obviously, don't do that every time, but like
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten out of ruts where like I'm like, oh crap, like I'm not creative this week, like I'm not creative this month. I just need some inspiration to help. I think
Hmm.
that's totally fine to like take some from somebody else because like you're not gonna be creative every week, and like
Yeah.
that's okay. But at the same time, you do have to like put out your own content, like your own
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'll throw in like videos that are like not my normal stuff every now and then. Like here are three things I learned from like being married for a couple of years or like whatever. So it's all always moving, always volatile.
Yeah. When you hit those ruts or those lull periods, maybe that things aren't flowing so well, or you're not having any creative, inspiration or juices. Like, how do you deal with that, and how do you kind of get through that?
Well, I mean, it's you gotta realize like if you depend on things like materialistic things or I guess um, if you depend on things that isn't higher than yourself, such
Hmm.
as if you depend on views for your happiness and joy, if you depend on your following account for happiness and joy, if you depend on food, money, cars, like all these things, like you're gonna be let down at some point, and you're just like gonna get stressed out a lot easier. And for me, like I lean on God. I'm a Christian, so I like have faith in the Lord, and
Hmm.
like sometimes I catch myself in a rut. I'm like, oh gosh, like my views aren't doing well. Like my content is just like not doing the best this month. Like I realize that like my hope is not in social media. My hope is in the Lord. And when you have that, it's almost like a superpower because you're almost, I feel like, unbothered by that. And being unbothered by that opens your mind to being more creative because if you're stressed out, dependent on other things that aren't doing well at the time, you're not going to think clearly. You're not going to be creative, and you're not going to be the best that you can be, like just as a person in general. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say is like find something higher than yourself to lean on, other than things that like are always moving.
Yeah. Well, I think um, faith is one of those things that's so easy to be thankful, and you feel blessed and you feel a calling from God, that like when things are going well and like everything is going to plan, it's like, oh, this is great, I'm so thankful for everything I have. But when you do have the dips, the downfalls, right, that's where it's hard to lean into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how do you think, like practically, if you're actually struggling, I mean, do you look to the, hey, I've had success in the past, I know there's success to come, like what is the mindset when you're looking for answers from God, you're looking for answers, through him, getting back on track mentally, and spiritually.
Mm-hmm. I prayer always works. I think, in my opinion, like also meditating on scripture is really really helpful, and it will calm
Hmm.
you down. It calms me down a lot.
What do you mean
Like
by that, meditating on scripture?
so for me, what that means is like putting on some headphones, sitting down, getting a devotional, or simply just getting a pen and paper, turning on some like this is what I do.
Okay.
Everybody's different, but this is what I do. I turn on meditation music, like kind of like ambient, you know, space type. You know,
Yeah.
you feel like you're not floating a little bit. I
Yeah.
sit there and I write down my thoughts, and I really just think about, you know, life is so short. Like why? Like life is too short to be stressing. Like God, just like help me posture my heart in a way that it's not dependent on things that are like, you know, not going to matter in whatever 100 years. Like, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And like, if you write these down, you sit and you just like ask the Lord to be present. I promise you, it works for it. It really does work for me, and it really leaves me like with a clear mind. And like, it's hard, man. Like, it's like social media is not for the weak. Like, you've probably seen a lot of big influencers be like, "Hey, I got to take a break. Like, this is mentally like
Yeah.
not doing well," because you can get in your head like super quickly. Because like you can just like for example, if whoever's watching this or listening, like if you haven't done social media, it's the same thing as like hearing yourself talk. You're just like, oh, I hate hearing myself talk. Like,
Yeah.
you're very, you're
Yep.
very like what's it called? I forgot what the word is for it, but you just like kind of judge yourself like for how you sound. It's like
Yeah.
you're doing that, but like to an extreme with social media because like you're documenting your whole life. Like it's your whole life's on display.
Hmm.
So it's really easy to get in your head. So that's why I think it's really important to like meditate with God and do that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was reading the Bible the other day, and I forgot what book because it was some long name of whatever. I'm sorry, but basically the passages I was reading was just like wealth is meaningless. Like everything you really do is meaningless unless you're kind of grounded and you
Mm-hmm.
have that relationship with God. None of this stuff is really going to matter 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Like once you leave, the only thing that matters is the eternal life that you have.
Exactly.
So it's just like why, like you were saying, why fixate on all this stuff? Why fixate on the problems now? There's so much that you've already been given. There's so much that there is to come. Like why worry
Exactly.
about that now?
Yeah. I actually have I have that scripture pulled up once. I think Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so so Ecclesiastes. I'm probably butchering this. I'm such a bad Christian. Like it's Ecclesiastes 11:4 says farmers who wait. It says farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest.
Mm.
I think that's kind of along the lines of what we're talking
Yeah,
about. Like
yeah,
uh, maybe something like that, but that's another just scripture if it's unrelated to this topic. But that's just one thing I'd love to remind myself about.
yeah. I mean, I just have like, this is Ecclesiastes. This is even 118. I mean, for with much wisdom comes much sorrow. To more knowledge, the more grief. Like, just thinking that
Yeah,
your happiness is going to be involved in the wisdom that you have, right? Like intellect and things like that. Pleasure, like
yeah,
chapter 2 says, pleasures are meaningless, basically.
yeah,
Everything was meaningless, chasing after the wind. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet when I survived, all of my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless. So it's like, you can chase after all the pleasure in the world, all the results, the views, the what's going to happen. It's like leave that all aside. You have a bigger plan.
like you were saying, like ultimately, like at the end of the day, like it is like 50, like 100, like even 75 years from now, like nobody's gonna remember us. Like obviously we'll have videos, whatever, but like
Yeah,
time flies. 100 years
yeah,
from now, our name will like be remembered. Like our grandkids will like start to forget about us, and 150 years from now, it's like we're like really not remembered. So it's like, it doesn't spiritual or not, like religious or not, like that's a really good thing to like remember.
yeah,
We're all gonna die. Like
yeah.
we're all gonna be like nobody's gonna remember us 150 years from now.
Hmm.
So it's like why let these small things bother you? Like
Yeah.
views. Why let
Mm.
other people's opinions bother you? Like why does your career path why does your opinions of others on your career path matter when what you're doing it makes you happy? Like, I don't think a lot of people agree with me, like quitting my great job that I did leave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a hard decision, but at the end of the day, like I just unfortunately wasn't happy where I was at, and you got to remember that like that's okay. Like if you're able to like still work and still like pay the bills and live a happy life, it's more than worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you said like, since you were having the income, it gives you that flexibility. But what was it like that ultimately made you quit? You said you weren't happy, but was it just, I mean, I don't know. It's a scary thought, I'm sure, just like leaving something like that behind. Like what made you just say, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go exactly for what I want? Because I think that's sometimes the unknown. Obviously, is very scary, right? That's a terrifying thing at times. And
Mm-hmm.
but what allowed you to just really grasp onto that and saying like, I'm gonna go after this. I mean, aside from what we just talked about.
Yeah, it's a funny story. I'm gonna make it short and sweet, so I don't like lose anybody. But
All right.
so I said earlier the reason why I started content was my wife, but also during that same time, I guess my whole life I've been wanting to start my own business. You probably like I talked to you and our other coworker Spencer. I don't know if it was you. We were in the airport and I was like editing a YouTube video
Yeah,
at the
I
time.
remember that. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, man, like I just want to do my own thing one day. Like I'm actually working on something right now. Anyways, I started watching this guy. His name's Daniel Dalen.
Okay.
You would like him though. He's this guy in China. He he started this fulfillment center in China, and he built it up the past like few years, and now it's like a 7-figure business, 8-figure business, like huge, like really successful guy. And like I was watching his videos, and he was saying something similar, like what I'm talking about. It's like this life is too short not to just try, because like if you beat someone down for trying, like shame on you, because like everybody else is kind of like stuck in this place where like they're content, which is fine. Like nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. There's literally nothing wrong at all. But like if you're not happy, then like make a change.
Yeah.
And I was so like motivated by this dude at the time. I was like, you know what? The next year, like I am going to like go all in on this content stuff. I like it. I know it's a bridge to get me from you know where I'm at right now to where I want to be, which is own my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up working out. Like the point to where like I was able to almost double my income at my corporate job, uh, doing social media, just only social media with brand deals. I was able to double my income, and like at that point, I'm like, you know what, man, like now's the time. Like this job that I had was like absolutely incredible. Like like on my like on paper, like I had a great experience. Like I got promoted a week before I left. I got my raise went up. Like it was an amazing raise too,
You hit
and it was
hit him
awesome.
while you were up, huh? They
Yeah,
didn't see
while
that
I was up,
coming.
and it made it harder to quit, man. And I was like,
Oh
you know
boy.
what? It's just a test, because like I could stay here. It's called the golden handcuffs for a reason, because they'll just
Mm.
like it was such a great opportunity. But I'm like, man, I have to do it. Like I have to do what is best for my family, because I know for a fact in a year or so we're gonna have kids, and that's gonna ultimately make it way harder to pursue something like this. So
Yeah.
that's one of the triggers. I was like, you know what, this has been my lifelong goal. We're about to have kids in a couple of years. Um, you know, we don't want to stay in Houston our whole lives. We want to go try something new for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those factors came into play, and through lots of prayer and just really taking a leap of faith. Like I said, I hit the red button. I'm like, I have to go. Like I have to do this thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what made that decision.
Damn. That's pretty crazy. I mean, the fact that you got promoted, you got a raise, like that's dangling in front of you. Like, are you sure you want to leave? Like, are you sure?
Dude, I was like, is this like is this God like answering our prayers, like saying, wait, stay actually, like don't go? But
Yeah.
we were pretty clear on it, man. We were pretty clear.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think at the end of the day, yeah, you gotta, like, if you don't follow what you feel is right. So, like, for example, my father is a professional musician. He's only had one job. He's only ever been a professional musician. He'll retire a professional musician, if he ever retires. But like, he knew from day one, like, this is my calling. Like, this is what I want to do. I'm not gonna work for anybody else. I'm not gonna. I want to play music. Like, this is my life. This is what I know I want to do. And like, nothing was gonna deter him from that. And honestly, been doing it for 40 plus years now. He's 60 years old, and he's like, like, it's work at the end of the day. Everybody has to have a job, but he's like, there's nothing I would rather do than be able to show up and just do something I love every single day, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that's one of those things at the end of your life, you know, it's easy to, it's good to look back on kind of these inflection points and being like, this is the moment where things changed for me. My heart was in the work that I do. That's how I can really make a difference. That's how I can, you know, fulfill my purpose.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really. What's your dad's first name again?
Billy Musto. Shout out, Dad. Billy Musto. Billy Musto.
Man, I'm sure, because that's so cool. I'll have to look him up after this. But dude, are you? That's an awesome. That's a really good like example of what it looks like. Do you also like play instruments and stuff? Like, I'm sure. Don't you like go out on like in Nashville and like play every now and then?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go. I don't go on like Broadway or anything, but I'm pretty connected with I play guitar. I play guitar and sing. I'm pretty connected with a lot of musicians here. I think a nice thing about Nashville is there's a lot of people in my position. So there's people that are obviously professional musicians, but there's people that just like love music, are musicians on the side, and they work corporate jobs or they work something else. And it's like being able to understand that balance of life, because being a musician is a very hard lifestyle. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. As I said, follow your passions. But there is a lot of work that goes on that not a lot of people see. But just being able to have like both and just being able to surround yourself, like that's what I love most about Nashville. Just having that, like, genuinely 80% of the people you meet have that understanding of like some kind of musicianship. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Very cool.
I want to talk about, I mean, you keep talking about your wife and her support, and what is she has her own business. What does she do?
Yeah, so she does wedding content creation, and the elevator pitch there is that, you know, when we got married, we had a videographer. Like most videographers, they take probably about a month or two to get you back like actual like video footage from your wedding. And like, we were like, why, like that, like we were on a honeymoon, we're like, man, like we wish we had like videos of like our day, we just like didn't have that. And now that iPhone, I mean, any phone nowadays has like, the camera's like incredible.
Yeah.
And so she was like, what if I made a business, like people would pay for her to go in with their phone and take iPhone videos of the day and then send the content the next day. So like they're in the honeymoon, like watching their stuff. On top of that, like in her packages, she says that like, I'll edit like a full day recap. I'll edit like other trendy videos, like, and I'll send that to you within 2 to 3 days. So it's like,
that's awesome.
You know, the wedding industry is like, people will pay like,
oh yeah,
for vendors, and like, you know, she did that while she was doing her corporate job as well on the side, and dude, like, picked up. She quit her corporate job, and now she's doing that full time. She's actually starting another business this week.
Damn.
Doing like social media management. She hired somebody full time, so that's starting tomorrow.
Wow, that's cool. That's a great idea. That's so awesome. Like, good for her. And the fact that you two, I mean, that's so cool that you guys are kind of like, you're able to understand what it's like. Like, you obviously, you know, you're both shifting away from the corporate side. You're trying to have your own thing, understand the content. Like, so that must, like, how is that in your day-to-day lives? Like, I'm sure there's some kind of like mutual understanding of like, hey, I got to set aside work. I got to do this. I got to do this. Like, have you been able to to build upon that together?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously we both work from home, like in this little office area,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean we're moving like this week, so it's gonna be a little different. But it's been really cool. Like we like when you get married, like if you'll know this when you get married, but you start to become like best friends with this person,
Yeah.
and like it's really cool to have a chance to like work pretty much work together like in the same room with your best friend. Like I think it's been really really fun for us. Like we're able to like hey let's go get some lunch. Like let's go walk down the street, get some sun. Like and just random points of the day. Like when
Yeah.
you're self-employed and you work from home, like you can do whatever you want. So
Is everything a
it's been
tax write-off too? Like, is like, hey, we're gonna film us going getting lunch. Write it off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's another cool thing about social media. It's like if you record it, it's a write off because if you get paid for like
Yeah.
on TikTok, I get paid for views. So it's like open an LLC at S corp whatever. Like
Yeah.
you can start writing anything off, which has been super cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
Damn. So yeah, that's. I mean, have what? I mean, where I come from, you guys are considered to be married pretty young. I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure down in Texas, it's pretty much the normal. But what have you been able to learn about being married? Obviously, you're talking about you're with your best friend all the time. But just like, what have you been able to learn maybe about yourself that you didn't even know before you guys were married?
You can't put on any fronts. Like you can't act like
Yeah.
dude, you turn more into like like a man as a man. Like
Yeah.
you turn like you can't hide anything. Like you can't act like you're like some hot shot at your job. Like you can't like
Yeah. Yeah.
post a video on social media like thinking you're like a lot smarter than you actually are because like your wife, depending on your partner, like will call you out for that. Like my wife will be like, "That's not." Like I'll do some stuff from like my personality. Like I'll like be performative a little more than usual
Yeah.
sometimes. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
she's like, "That's not you. Like stop doing that crap." And so man, it's been cool. Like it's you grow a lot. Like and like you're saying, like I think it's just like a southern thing, like getting married young.
Mm-hmm.
And I would recommend it to people that like really know like your spouse is the one because like if you don't like that's like the number one decision you can make in your life is picking the right spouse because if you rush things like I for sure like would not end well.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to your question like what has it done for me like I said it's turned me into a man I never thought I would have been. Like I feel like you gotta really step up to the plate or like things will start crumbling and it's taught me how to be like selfless. It's taught me how to be more loving to people and ultimately more like Jesus. And that's a really cool thing about like being a Christian and being married is like you have this image of Jesus, this perfect human being. And it's like if you don't try to be like Jesus, like a lot of like your marriage is gonna like suffer a little bit because Jesus was selfless. He was sacrificial. His love was unconditional. He he was the perfect human being. It's like it kind of like embodies marriage. Is like you gotta be sacrificial. You gotta love no matter the circumstance. Like you gotta be patient. Like patience is the key to success as well in marriage. And I think like I'm not a master dude. Like I've been married for 2 years and like it's been such a learning experience, but also such a fruitful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. And how'd you know? You're saying if you know she's the one, like, don't wait on it. How'd you kind of know that Reagan was the one for you?
Yeah, so she I kind of had a crush on her in high school. We didn't ever meet in person, but through social media, yeah, it was funny. Like through social media, like I followed her. We went to different schools. We're in the same area. And, like I was like, man, like imagine. I just would always dream of like marrying that girl. I don't want like I wish I was lying. It sounds corny. Like it sounds so cringe to say that. But like
A little bit. It's okay.
It was true, but I was like, dude, like I always had a crush on her, and then like went to college. I was just like, nah, it's never gonna work out. So I was just doing my own thing, and then back in college, like sophomore year, we like met up during like Christmas break, asked her to get coffee, and yeah, it went from there. And like the way I knew that she was the one was like she was like so on like still like she's just like so on fire for God, and like I knew that like she was really the one when like we actually took a break, like a 2 week break, like probably 8 months into our dating relationship, because she wanted to disciple girls, and I was being a distraction, and I was like, holy crap.
Wow.
Like this girl like is serious, and like if she's serious about this, and I'm like, bro, she's gonna be serious about marriage. So I gotta lock that up.
Dude, that's so wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Cool.
man. What was all right?
I
What was the message you sent? Like, how was the message you sent off? Hey, you just want to, like, were you talking beforehand, and then like how'd you get
She
into this?
reached out to me. I wasn't gonna say it. She reached out. She DM'd me, uh,
Oh,
which is
damn.
like I don't really flex about it, but like I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, she reached out to me like through Instagram, and it was my birthday, and she was like, "Happy birthday!" And I was like, "Oh, we meet again." And I
Oh
was like,
man.
please let me take you to coffee, and we just
Oh,
that's what happened.
damn. Wow.
It
All
was
right.
cool.
Don't chase, you attract. Got it. All right, check that off, man. That's
No,
so.
that's not.
Uh,
Dude, I got lucky there.
you
Oh
did
gosh.
get lucky.
Oh
Oh
Lord.
man, dude. Um, talk about. I want to hear about this move to Dallas. I mean, this has
Mhm.
been again. You were branding in. You're the 26-year-old married finance bro in Houston. Now you're
Yeah, yeah.
relocating to Dallas. Tell me about how did this decision come to be? What's been the process of going through all this? Moving is a pain.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, explain just kind of like what's going on here and why you're moving.
Yeah, lots of life change. But ultimately, like long story short, we we really value our community. Just like having like really good godly friends, and unfortunately, like we just like didn't have, or like right now we just don't have that in Houston.
Mm.
This like we love all the friends that we do have, but like we really want to like be more invested into our church. And the church we go to right now is also great. I just think that like it's just like not a fit for us. And we've both been in Houston our whole lives. Dallas is right across the street from here, only 3 hours north, and all of her friends from college are pretty much over there. And all of literally like I have one of my best friends lives in Houston, but he works in banking, so he's always like busy.
Yeah.
But, like all my college buddies, all my like really good friends are in Dallas too. So not only that, but like people, it's more fast paced from what we've heard. Like a lot of my entrepreneurial friends are over there in Dallas, and I want to be around that, because if you're not around that, you're gonna get to places a lot slower.
Yeah.
So all our families in Houston, so that's gonna be kind of tough. But man, like I kind of like the whole thing we've been doing the past years. Like, gotta do what's best for us.
Yeah.
Like gotta sacrifice some things to do whatever makes you happy. And so that's the plan, man. That's why we're going to Dallas.
Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, 3 hours to go see your family's not bad. I mean, a little planning, but
I wouldn't. Our parents definitely don't think that's the best thing in the world. They think it's literally like a light year away. It's like,
Wow.
we'll be there in 2 hours. Like, well, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh
Like,
man.
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm sure. And I will say, touching on your point when you were talking about surrounding yourself, like the environment that you surround yourself, I don't think people realize enough, or maybe they do, but kind of undermined it. Like, if you're surrounding yourself with a certain energy, a certain group of people, certain work culture, just anything you surround yourself with, like you're gonna pick that up inherently, like
Yeah.
whether you realize it or not. Like I don't like to think I've changed too much, but even just from like being in Nashville, coming from Massachusetts, I mean, I think I've probably morphed into this environment of like, I don't know, Nashville is, aside from the southern culture, but Nashville is very big on I see a lot of younger people into personal fitness and like taking care of their bodies and like being healthy and things like that. And I think that has kind of launched a side of me like from that angle that I've been kind of doubling down on that. The friends that I have that are I have friends that are getting their PhD and friends that are getting, having their own businesses and things like that. I'm not trying to flex on anybody myself, but just surrounding yourself though with people that are like that, with an energy, with a culture that's like that. That does, because if you're going forward, you're going to have people in your corner that are also going the same direction. And if you don't, it's only going to pull you down, slow you down. So exactly what's coming to your point.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like you are the product of your 5 closest friends. Like if you have, like, you want to be like obviously the dumbest person in the room. You want to be around people that like will push you like further than you could even like think of. Like I said, going back to this Daniel Daly guy that I watch.
Yeah.
Like you notice like all of his videos, he's around like, he's our age, by the way. He's like 26, 27, and he's like around all these like guys his same age. They're just like, let's like freaking go. Like we can literally like do so much more than like what like the world tells us we can do. Like let's go out there and like let's just like go make like, I don't want to be materialistic, but like go make a business. Like it is 100% like it is 100% possible, and he like shows that it is. And also shows that like you are a product of your environment. And if you're around a whole bunch of losers, like it's not you're gonna end up being a loser. Like like being in corporate America, like everybody like in my general vicinity was like, I mean, they're fine like working corporate, and like I said, like that's nothing wrong with that, but like we were just on 2 different paths. Like I wanted to go somewhere else, and they were just like, this is fine where I'm at right here. Like, and Godspeed to them. Like they're great people, but I'm just like, man, I can't, like, I have to be around people that really want to like go and do their own thing and enjoy this life while we have it, instead of being like in the office like 5 days a week, just like behind the desk 12 hours a day. I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, dude, it takes a toll on your back. I mean, like my posture is like, it's like, ugh, terrible.
Yeah, dude, there's like a little dip in my back right now.
Yeah, you're slowly trying to get it. Oh man, that's funny. What else is next for you guys? I mean, you touched on a couple things. Starting a family, starting a business. Like, what else is, do you see for yourself the next few years going forward with all this?
I mean, we got a lot of big changes going on right now, so I haven't thought about it that much. But we do know that we're gonna probably start having kids in the next year or so, like God willing. And when, let's see, definitely have kids in the next like 1 to 2 years, and then also I'm once we move to Dallas, I'm really gonna like go full throttle on starting a business and documenting that on my social media, and really just giving people like the truth behind like what it is as like a normal guy, like has never really like started a business from scratch, like bootstrapped it. And so like I'm gonna be documenting that the next like year, see where it goes. And I mean, other than like Dallas and doing social media full time right now, like that's kind of the plan.
Yeah, that's your mind focus. I like that. So. I like that. Staying focused on that. I think I heard Alex Hormozi talk about one time, like, only if we had video of Jeff Bezos building up Amazon, like actively building that up, or like Steve Jobs like actively building up Apple. Like if we had those like day to day before he was a this 1%er, like only if we had those days of like seeing his day, like how crazy would that be?
Dude, that is like 100% yes, dude. Like I don't mean to talk about myself so much, but like that's one of the reasons why like I started like a YouTube channel, like or even TikTok like a few years ago, because like I was like, what if like through me or any normal person, like like I said, Daniel Dalen did that actually. He already did that. Like he could be the next Jeff Bezos. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
he's documenting every single thing, like even outside of work, like what he does. He's like imagine like what we knew like Jeff Bezos' schedule was like on the weekends, like outside of work. Like that would be so cool to see, you know, and like how he was feeling during a certain time. Like, hey, like I'm stressed out right now, like, but I'm still gonna push through and showing people like, hey, like stress is normal, but you just gotta like turn on a switch and go. But no, man, that's a good point. Yeah, like Alex Hormozi is really good, and it's a really good point that he made there about like how cool it'd be to see like, you know, one of those like really successful billionaire guys like start up from scratch.
Yeah, and honestly, that was like a pretty big inspiration for like this whole thing that I'm doing. Is like if I can bring on one guest and they turn out to be this like. And maybe it could be you, Steven, but it turns out to be this like worldwide known inspirational figure that has touched the lives of millions of people. Like, how cool would it have been to go back and be like, oh my gosh, he was on this random dude's podcast when he was first building things up. Like, he wasn't sure what he was doing. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty. He was following this. Like, how cool would it be to like go back and be like, here he is as he's, you know, ascending. Like that would be so cool.
Hopefully I can fulfill that prophecy, bro.
Yeah. And dude,
it might be you, bro. It might be you. I might be going out to people 10 years, 5 years from now saying I was on a podcast with William Musto, bro. Like, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like I can see it, dude. I can see it.
Yeah. Dude, stop. Cut that out. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just. It's so cool, and it actually for some reason brought me to think of like videos. I've been trying to read more, just like books in general, trying to get more into reading, because the one thing I've noticed about reading, where movies and videos can't ever do, is you can't ever get into the mind of like the character, right? Unless you're reading a book. Like the reading is the only way that you can describe down on paper, because unless you have like a movie that's being narrated, like you're never going to get into the mind of the actual person. So I don't know, I just think about like we're talking about, you see somebody rising, you know, growing their empire of their business or, you know, their social life or whatever it is. You know, but getting into the mind and reading like autobiographies, because you really get into the spirit of like who they are, what they're thinking at that time, the struggles that they're going through. You know, I think that's a really powerful thing that we don't always get from video, unfortunately.
No, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean that's why like, I mean even documentaries, like I think they attempt to capture that, but like it still doesn't. You get that, you scratch that itch of like, wow, like this is like the behind the scenes of this person. Like it's actually really interesting, but like it's not enough. Like it's not like what you're talking about. Like it's not like actually in the mind of the person, like what they actually like were thinking at this point in time, like what they like literally like recording it live. Like that's the opportunity that you and I get. It's like we can go out and like document like all these cool things, like doing it live and like showing people like our thought process here.
Yeah.
Instead of after the fact, where people have to go back and like get all these archived videos and put them together to a documentary. But yeah, that's a good point, man. Like reading is like, do you read like self-development, like, or like fictional? Like what's your like genre?
Yeah.
Like?
I mean, there was a while where I was like, well, if I'm going to read, I'm only going to read like nonfiction, mental growth, like, you know, stuff like that. And then I got really bored of it, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. Like I was reading Grit and like Atomic Habits and like all those. And there's a lot of great stuff. And when you finish them, you also like part of that is you feel really fired up and really accomplished. Yeah. But the thing that I was figuring out was like, there's nothing that's really, prompting me to be eager to read it. It's just, you're kind of just like reading continuously rather than like a story. So I started picking up some like classic fiction works. Like I was reading like Animal Farm in 1984 by George Orwell, but I'm reading like The Old Man and the Sea, and just like things that have a nice like linear, like a story that it's almost like watching a TV show. It's crazy to be like, books are the new meta. Like books are like watching a Netflix series, but it almost is like, there's something that keeps you going to follow
Yeah.
up, like to keep reading. Like there's a story that needs to be completed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, that's been my experience, like trying to just get excited. Because I did have somebody tell me, like she was like, she was an avid reader, and she's saying, I was telling her about trying to get back into reading, trying to do things. She's like, but I get distracted, right? I don't get focused. She's like, you're not reading the right stuff. Like you have to, there's so many options for books. Like if you're not reading the right thing, I mean, you can just change, like get something that you're excited to read, like that you're going to constantly want to go to the next page, go to the next chapter, like not want to put down. And like, that was like, oh, man, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I feel like I think people get bored really easily, and it's like you forget that you can actually do that. It's like, if you don't like this chapter, then go to the next one. It could be cooler.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think so much of the reading that we get accustomed to is from school, so it seems so forced. Like you have to read this and this time, and it's not like that. Yeah, exactly.
I think one cool thing about reading, you probably agree with this, is like you when you read, obviously there's not like pictures. I mean, fictional books might have pictures, right? But like most books don't have pictures and imagery in it. Like, so when you read these books, it's like you come up with these like your own version of like what the author is like, I guess, like telling us. Like for example, like you can like your imagination like sparks, because like you're reading this line and like, oh, like they're carrying a bucket of wood out to the shed. It's like you have this own image of like a shed and two people carrying like a bucket of wood. It's like that's what's interesting to me about it. It's like everybody has their own perspective on like, or like own like image of their mind about like whatever story they're reading. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. It's like everybody has different perspectives with any book. Like I've read like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Atomic Habits. I've read The 48 Laws of Power, like 33 Strategies of War. And the cool thing about like reading with people and talking about these books is that like everybody has different perspectives. Like, oh, I thought this here. Like I thought like this story about like whatever, like William Shakespeare, I thought this was really cool. And they're like, oh, like that's actually interesting. And I think like book clubs or anything like that would be cool to like get together with the community and like talk about it, which is fun. Dude,
maybe that's what you go to Dallas, start the Lone Star Book Club, hosted by Stephen Teal.
Maybe we'll see.
Oh man, I just have a quick question, honestly, kind of like relating to all this. Do you think about the storytelling aspect of like when you're producing short form content? You have these minute-long videos, and yours just like, I guess it's easier because it's chronological, but I feel like certain things kind of touch back, and you have your individual brand, your certain sayings and things like that. But are you ever like storyboarding this kind of stuff, like mentally, or even writing it down or anything, or do you just like film and then just edit it?
It depends on like how busy the week is, to be honest. Like now that I've had a little bit more time, like I'm not working a corporate job, I have been thinking more like just more. I've been putting in more thought about my videos. For example, I had one yesterday that I posted with my brother, and we were we went to go play golf, and like while we were playing golf, I mic'd both of us up, and I had written down questions in my notes page to ask him, and that was kind of like a small example of like having it written out before I went, and like knowing like what shots to take. Yeah. But then honestly, like right now, like 80% of my content is literally just me putting my camera down on a little tripod, like this little thing right here, and putting it down and like finding an audio and like seeing what looks what goes best with that audio, and like just kind of being creative there.
Yeah. Damn.
So yeah. Nothing too crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. That's why it's authentic, and that's why it's like kind of just capturing. I mean, some of the best clips on TikTok are just like random videos being taken in that moment, in that, and it's. Yeah. I think the one other question I have. I'm sorry if all of a sudden this is kind of brought up to me. Do you ever fear that like you're living your life through the lens of a camera at all, like, or because I feel like that would be a concern of mine, of like, I'm so focused on like capturing my day that am I really being present in the day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does that ever come to your mind?
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Like, dude, when I was, obviously, like, I think like when I first started social media and I was like picking up really fast the first few months I was starting. I don't know if starstruck is the right word, but I felt like I was genuinely like, it's almost like a pride thing. I was like, dude, like, I am like, everybody's watching this. Like, I gotta make sure everything is like, every shot's like perfect. And so like
Yeah.
every day, like I would like honestly sacrifice time, like giving my wife attention. I'd be like, oh, I gotta do this, that, and like I looked, and one day, like she brought it to my attention and was like, "Hey, like, this is a problem." And I was like, "You know what? Like, you're right." Like, I realized the past like few months, like, I had not like been focusing on like actually what I'm doing today. Like, it is a lot. Like, putting a camera down. Like, for example, like those shots where I have like me getting in my truck and taking off. Like, people talk about that. Like, they're like, "Oh, like, what did you do? Go back and like grab the camera." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And actually, it's actually pretty annoying.
Yeah, I can
uh,
imagine.
well, that's just a part of it, though. It's like, thankfully, I've gotten used to it, and I've been able to find balance between staying present, but also be able to capture like my day to day like life.
Hmm.
But at first, definitely, it was tricky. Like, it was definitely sacrificing some important moments with my wife, or even like
Hmm.
my own life.
Yeah, gotcha. Dang. Well, final question. Am I going to be? Is this actively being recorded, or am I going to be in the day in the life, or what?
Dude, absolutely. Like, I've been
No,
I'm gonna, here.
dude,
I'm gonna do it right now. Just do
we're
this.
rolling.
Yeah, you're live, bro.
Let's go, man. Let's go. This
And
is
that's
awesome.
it. That's it. It's
Oh,
funny, dude. Like, I was doing a vlog, like just like a full Sunday in the life, and just like hop on a podcast. Like,
yeah.
it's funny.
Hop, yeah. Hop on this podcast. Next, this is the warm up for Joe Rogan. Don't you worry. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the next place you're going.
Oh,
Um,
bro, I like so, dude. You should. Sorry to cut you off. Like,
you're
you
good.
should look at My First Million podcast.
My
Like,
first million.
that's like my dream, bro. Like, that's like like Joe Rogan. Obviously, that's like any man's dream. But like My
Yeah,
First Million podcast is like, bro. Like, that's like my number one goal in life is to be on that podcast.
dude. I'm gonna
Other than this one.
Yeah, second goal in life. Second goal in life. Gotcha. Dude, I'm gonna check this out. I have this saved. Um, man, that's all. That's all I got. Is there anything else you want to leave the viewers that maybe don't know something about you, or maybe they have to just stay tuned to what you got going on in store? But anything you want
Yeah,
to leave
man.
them?
Like, really appreciate you for having me, dude. This has been such a cool opportunity. But like, I would say like my first podcast really ever. Like, I was on one last year but didn't publish. Like, it's really like it's really cool to have an opportunity like this, man. So I really appreciate it. I think like one thing like I would say, whoever's like watching this video is that like it's okay to like it's okay to do things like out of the ordinary that make you happy, because like we were just talking about, like Will and I were saying, like, hey, like it's not going to matter. Like, it really isn't going to matter 100 years from now. Like, what the heck people think about what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. Like, who cares? Like, don't be scared to be disliked by people for doing something that you love, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're going to be gone in 100 years, and it doesn't matter. And if you depend on things that are not like higher than yourself, then you're gonna find this life like really like stressful. Being 4 years out of college, like it's really tricky to like go about my day without like leaning on God, because ultimately like that's what keeps me at peace, and that's what keeps me grounded, and like that's what helps me love people better and helps me be more creative and be able to like provide for my family essentially. So I would say
Yeah.
that just be yourself and don't be scared of what people think, because it doesn't matter.
Dude, I love it. Well said.
Sure.
Thanks for coming on this podcast, especially with you got so much going on right now in your life. So thanks for taking the time, talking to us all here. Man, it's been it's really great to know you, Steven. So I'm glad you were able to find the time, and we'll have to do it again.
Thank you, brother. You too, man.
All
I
right.
really appreciate you for having me on here, dude.
Yeah, of course.